change in rules at the Academy Awards where there will now be affirmative action. Is that fair to say? There will be affirmative action for black actors, actresses, producers, directors, etc. This is an example right before your eyes of how the left damages whatever it touches. There is nobody in this country who ever had a scintilla of thought when a black won an Academy Award as a director or as a has a black director won? I don't want to be very precise here. You know the film extremely well. Has a black director won? Has Spike Lee never won an Academy Award as a director, right? All right. Anyway, as an actor or actress, all right, Academy or obviously in a supporting role or what have you. Nobody has ever, for a moment, thought, well, they got it because they're black. We all thought, and we were right, they got it because they turned in such a great performance. Now, thanks to activists who are almost always on the left, it is very rare you get the concept of a right-wing activist. They exist. But let's see, but they exist. But whenever you hear activist, it's almost inevitably left of center. And the reason, by the way, allow me this tangential point, there is a reason for that. People on the left get meaning from activism much more than people on the right do. Most conservatives have happiness in their lives from their religion. Remember the contemptuous statement of the president, their religion and their guns? Most people, conservative, have a life that is fulfilled by something outside of political activism. But there is a soullessness in the secular left in Europe and in the United States which gives people meaning through other things, and some of them it's purely through hedonism. And for some, it is through activism. So anyway, that's where the activists work. And then they believe that there is a crisis where there usually isn't, and then overthrow the tradition, because they loathe tradition, because the new is very exciting, much more exciting, and because they have a utopian vision that with radical changes, great things will happen. So let's see here. They voted to double female and minority members by 2020. Voting limits will be imposed for those no longer active in the industry, and so on. So let's see. That's what, who has spoken out? Hollywood A-listers George Clooney, Reese Witherspoon, Mark Ruffalo, Lupita Nyong'o, did I pronounce Lupita's name right? And Don Cheadle have called for representation in front of and behind the camera. President Obama supported the outcry, filmmaker Ava DuVernay and TV star Viola Davis. Wow. Charlotte Rampling received blowback after saying perhaps the black actors did not deserve nominations. You're not allowed to say that. That makes you a racist? Is that the point? It's because the concept deserve is a conservative word. Earn is a conservative word. Standards is a conservative word. Each side has its words. So here is what... the head of the Motion Picture Academy is a black female, but I guess that doesn't matter. All this does now, is cheapen the excellence that exists in the Academy when a black actor or any black in the industry wins an Academy Award. That's what it does. The MC is going to be a black too, but I guess that So what will matter? Will 12% of the awards have to be given to blacks? Is that how it works? Also, you know what else it shows you? Aside from the destructive nature of leftist activism, there is also a stupidity that is a shallowness. Forget stupidity. A shallowness of intellectual thought. Does anyone believe that, let's say, only black actors, let's just imagine a world where the only nominees were blacks. Are you following with me? All the nominees in every category for Academy Awards were black. How would that impact the life of a single black in the United States? How would it positively impact? Would one kid who isn't studying hard in the inner city study harder? Will one female who's having kids without a father for the child now decide, wow, given all the Academy Awards given to blacks, I'm gonna get married before I have a child? That was the interesting debate I had with Jack McWhorter, right? Or John McWhorter? I'm sorry? Yeah. Who was a very intelligent thinker who happens to be black, and he said that this was before the first Obama election, and he was convinced. He didn't think he was the right man necessarily for presidency, but he thought it would be such a good thing for black males to have this model. And by the way, I was shall I say? What shall I say? I was agnostic. I didn't think that was a bad argument. I mean, it's President of the United States. That's not winning an Academy Award, which has a lot of glory, but it has no ultimate meaning. President of the United States is a meaningful thing. And it turned out, of course, the opposite is the case. Race relations are worse. The figures are worse in terms of whatever sociological criterion you use. This notion that if we have more people represented in X or Y or Z, it will redound to the benefit of the group is just not true. As I've pointed out so often, there are very few Asian Americans in political life in the United States. Very, very few. They have very little, quote-unquote, political power, Asian Americans. However, they are, according to the government statistics, they are poised to overtake Caucasians in terms of income. And already they are by far the most highly overrepresented groups. I don't know if they're more overrepresented than Jews. I don't know. They might be. I think in this generation they might be in elite universities. It doesn't matter how many black politicians there are. It doesn't matter how many black winners there are of the Academy Award. Do you understand, folks? Do you understand? The left has misled black America for so many decades, and you would think that honest people of all races would finally say, you are being lied to by very simplistic, not simple, simple is good, simplistic human beings. There will be more black members of the Academy. Wow. What a great moment in black American life. Think about it. This is what people think is a major significance. They're so narcissistic in Hollywood, they think this is important. You think think about it, will you? Do you realize how utterly, staggeringly insignificant it is? It is colossally insignificant. But they think it's important. So fine. All they've done is cheapen the awards that blacks will win. That is all the only thing that they have succeeded in doing. This will not help black life one iota. It will not help American life one iota. It will just cheapen every award that a black now receives. Thank you, left. Whatever you touch, you damage. But they keep on rolling. 1-8-PRAGER 776 877-243 776. I'm Dennis Prager.
Hooray for Hollywood. Coney, Super Coney, Hollywood.
Hi, everybody. You are listening to the Dennis Prager Show. And I've been talking to you about the unbelievably foolish and destructive notion that minorities need to have a political and artistic representation in order to better their lot in life. All the black politicians added up have done nothing to help the crises that afflict the major segments of black American life. All the absence of Asian American politicians has done nothing to hurt or stem the progress of Asian Americans in American life. All the the dominance of blacks in basketball and professional basketball has not led to calls for affirmative action for non-blacks. And nobody thinks it should. The trivia that is concentrated on, like this, in Hollywood they think it's important. Activists know that they will get attention because Hollywood gets attention, but it's insignificant. Nothing would change, as I said, in black life or any group's life. If every recipient were a Native American, an American Indian, what would it change? If every nominee were Asian American, what would it change? Sacramento, California, and is the name Ayla? Is that correct?
That's correct.
Hi.
Dennis, I absolutely love you, but today you have irritated me. I've been listening to you for years, but today, oh my God, I think you got this all wrong.
I'm listening.
Look, I have a friend in that industry. He's a gang boss, and those people they're unionized. Those are the people who are in charge of getting all the vehicles that the cast and the movies use within a film set. That particular industry is about 95% all white males. He happens to be a black male. One of the things to get into that industry, you have to have a trucking license. You have to have some experience with being on the road. Obviously, you're traveling around with lots of vehicles. And I asked him, Daryl, why is it that it's primarily white males? This is why, because their dads did it, their dads get their sons in it, the sons get their friends in it, and so the industry is not open to others. And so I said, well, how did you get in? He got in because he worked for FedEx, and one of the friends' fathers got his friend in, and he happened, after 10 years of applying, he got in because he got in on a recommendation. So to say, Dennis, that all these different parts of the industry, whether you're a writer or whether you're in the back part of it, from costumes to design, et cetera, is fair and equitable for everybody. Dennis, it is not.
I didn't say it was fair and equitable. I was talking solely about the awards. I don't think awards are chosen on the basis of race. I think whether they're right or I think half the awards were foolish. I remember best film awards that I thought were given to junk. But I don't think that happens to be because they're white. It's because they have, I don't think that the particularly wise people who spend their lives in the academy. That's all.
I agree with you. I think the Oscars...
So what will it benefit? I have one challenge. You answer me. What will it benefit having more black nominees? What will it do for black life having more nominees for Academy Awards?
I don't think it will affect black lives in its entirety. But here's what
No. In part. Forget in its entirety. What will it do for black life? Black life is, my belief, is the greatest problem is that almost 80% of black kids are born to a mother who is not married to the child's father.
True.
Okay, what will this do to ameliorate that condition?
Nothing.
Thank you. Why do we differ?
We differ because I feel as if though you have taken this and made this about it's only blacks that feel that they need to have some diversity in this industry, and it's not just maybe blacks have the loudest voices, but there are Asians and Latinos and East Indians and
but
other people who feel the same way.
Well, I don't know. The major activism right now is with regard to blacks, not with regard to Asian Americans. And I think the average Asian American basically couldn't care less how many nominees there are who originated in the Philippines or Vietnam.
Maybe because they have their own industry.
No, they don't have their own film industry. What they have is, I mean, everybody has a film industry to a certain extent. I don't know if the Vietnamese film industry is of any significance in the United States. No, I'll tell you why. Because they understand that you don't get ahead in life by the number of nominees of your ethnic group in Hollywood. That's why. They put no eggs in the basket of the left. The left puts it in the basket of how many congressmen and senators are black, how many Academy Award recipients are black. Those are insignificant, completely insignificant. That's my point, and I don't know where you and I differ. I never said the unionized groups were fair. I
just think that the whole industry, to me, the industry itself, whether you're in front or behind the scenes, I think that there is inequity and there is discrimination. Whether you're using all white females or all white thin females, or there's age discrimination. The whole entire industry.
Yes, because most human beings would rather see young people than old people as a general rule, especially with regard to females. It is completely unfair, but your argument is with God, not Hollywood.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much. I can't deny life, folks. I'm sorry. That's the way it is. It's what you might as well say that it is unfair that there are no 70-year-old women competing for the Miss America contest. There's total ageism there, right? I don't know if there's anybody over 30. Yes, and they all tend not to be overweight. That's correct. And by the way, I hold the whole anorexic movement, which I've talked about in models like Victoria's Secret models, is to me awful, utterly awful. And you know the reason for that is the disproportionate number of gays in the fashion industry. We'll be back. Reality is unfair, but the solutions here are not good. Back in a moment. I'm Dennis Prager. 1-8-PRAGER-776. All right, everybody, you're listening to the Dennis Prager Show. Mario in Pasadena, California. Dennis Prager, thank you for calling.
Hey, good afternoon, Dennis. How are you today?
I'm well, thank you.
Great. The reason that I called in is because I kind of took issue with the comment that you made that it would somehow cheapen black actors winning awards with the Academy. Because they allow more diversity within the Academy or what have you. I don't think that it's really any kind of a meritocracy-based system to begin with. It's completely subjective. There is no objective criteria by which they go about to select best picture, best actor, etc. So, how does it cheapen anything? There are no real standards to begin with.
Well, that's a very fair statement. There is obviously that is correct. There is no objective standard. But the moment you say we will now make sure that we have more of Group X or Y or Z, people will assume that there is a real chance that the reason that the person got that award, if they are a member of that group X, Y, or Z, is that not that people thought that they deserved it, as much as they needed to affirm that group. And there is no doubt in my mind that that's what people will think.
Well, I mean, people can think whatever they choose.
You're right,
Yeah,
but why would you want to
it,
do that? I think it hurts blacks. I think it hurts black actors. Nobody
well,
until
it's going to hurt them no matter what, because the reason why is, even when you look at the black actors that have won in the past, look at the type of roles that they won for. They're always playing maids, slaves, thugs, or sexually loose.
Well, here, let's take a look. Maybe it's an interesting question, and let's take a look. So, by the way, before we go on, I have a list here of those who were nominated. So I'm going to go over that with you in a moment. You may be right. I don't claim to know films all that well, but there is an actor. He's a black actor. In fact, I interviewed him. He has been in the most high-grossing films. Samuel
Jackson.
Right, Samuel Jackson. Does he play the roles that you just mentioned?
Yes, he's in a lot of those movies. He plays.
Does he play a slave or a butler often?
Yes, he's played slave. I don't know about often, but most of the roles that he gets are character roles. They're roles where he'll play like a butler, or in the last major film that he did was Django Unchained, and he played basically the right-hand man of the plantation owner. You know, he was the black.
Right. I would be curious because he has grossed so much money, and for so many films that have grossed money, the most, as I say, not he personally, but
he has.
All right. Anyway, so let's take a look here. All right. So look, let's see. So I have here Best Actor in a Leading Role. So Sidney Poitier was nominated in 58 and 63, Lilies of the Field, The Defiant Ones, James Earl Jones, The Great White Hope, Paul Winfield, Sounder, Dexter Gordon, 1986, Round Midnight, Morgan Freeman, Driving Miss Daisy, Denzel Washington, Malcolm X, Lawrence Fishburne, 1993, What's Love Got to Do with It, Morgan Freeman, The Shawshank Redemption, Denzel Washington, 1999, The Hurricane. Was he nominated for 2 films? 2001, The Training Day. Right. Will Smith, Ali, Jamie Foxx, Ray.
Which he won for.
That's right. Yeah, Terrence Howard, Hustle and Flow.
Which was a disgraceful movie, and it was disgraceful that he was nominated for that role, and it was a pimp, and it was also disgraceful that song won Best Song that year. That was complete embarrassment to Black society.
Well, you certainly have. You should be a member of the Academy. All right, I thank you for the call. I do believe. I'm sorry. Life is not fair. But as soon as you say Group X will now be more represented, people will assume that when a member of Group X gets an award, it's because he's a member of Group X. It only hurts the people you are theoretically wanting to help. That's just logic. We'll be back in a moment. Hello, everybody. Dennis Prager here. I was going to move on, but I have a call here from a member of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, so I will take it. LM. This person wants initials only used. Hello, LM in Los Angeles.
Hello, Mr. Prager.
Yes, sir.
Sir.
I'm well, thank you.
I'm a fan. I hesitate to say that because I don't want people to think that I'm biased towards your argument.
God forbid. God forbid. Oh, my God. I hope you're using a voice simulator.
Well, I'm also wearing a mustache and glasses.
Oh, okay. That'll help. All right. That's fair enough.
It's important to understand one simple thing about the Academy and the way it works. The nominations process is a totally separate act to the voting process. And what I mean by that is only those in that category can nominate those that are nominated. Actors only nominate actors. Film editors only nominate film editors. Everyone gets to vote for everybody. But the nominations, in other words, when black actors and or actresses say, we're not represented in this category, then look to your fellow actors for not being nominated. I'm not in that category. That's not the area that I'm in, and I'm not going to say what area I'm in.
I'm sure you weren't.
I did not. I don't have any control over who gets nominated as an actor. I do have control on who I get to vote for.
Wait, so how many? So that I did not know this, and I don't think most people know this. So let me understand. How do you qualify to vote? Did you have to have a paid acting role in the last year to vote for actor?
No. Let's also be clear that Rodney Dangerfield, who made many films, highly successful films, was never, ever allowed into the Academy.
No. But how do you, I'm sorry, I used the wrong term. I said vote. I should have said nominate. How do you qualify to be a nominator?
You have to be a member of of that branch of the Academy. The actors, or the directors, or the producers, or the film editors, or the cinematographers.
And how do you get to, and so how many actors are in the Academy?
I don't know that number.
Give me do you have a rough idea, or is it thousands? Is it very little?
No. Well, there's a lot of people in the Screen Actors Guild that SAG and AFTRA have now merged.
Okay.
So there's a lot of people there. But my point is that, the old joke, how many, what do I want to do? I would really rather direct or act, but right now I'm a bartender. There's 50,000 actors living in the city of Los Angeles metro area, at least. How many make a living? Somewhere between 500 to 5,000 make a living.
Right. So what qualifies you to be among the nominators for Best Actor? That's what I'm trying to understand.
Well, you have to be nominated to the Academy. Takes two. You need to be nominated by at least one, and then another one needs to come in and vote.
And then once you are, do you then vote on the winners as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Everybody
so all right.
gets
So
to vote
okay.
on the winners.
All right. So only the members of the Academy who are actors nominate actors. Only the members of the Academy who are in stage costume nominate in that category.
Right.
So
exactly.
Right. All right.
Now,
well,
the only difference here is that within the area of nominations for Best Picture, everybody from all branches.
Right. I understand.
Nominate and vote for that one character.
All right. So in a nutshell, what is your answer to the arguments made on behalf of black underrepresentation?
Well, you have two problems here. The first problem is that should more people be brought into the Academy? I would believe so, but that should be based on a quality issue. I mean, who's to say that Rodney Dangerfield, didn't deserve to be a member of the Academy? I don't know. But let me also point out two other more important issues. Richard Burton was nominated 7 times for Best Actor. He never won. Does that mean there was a prejudice against Richard Burton in the Academy? And any one of those performances deserved to be Best Actor. Any one of them. As good as any of the other people in that year, in that category, who were his fellow nominees.
Right, so these are...
Paul Newman was nominated 8 times. It took him 8 times to win. The 8th time he finally won. And most people universally agree that it was a great performance, The Color of Money. Was it as good as the other 7? Not even close. Not even close. Could you compare that compared to HUD? It's impossible.
Right. So you're saying it's a subjective process. It's not done because of bias.
The responsibility of every Academy member when they nominate and when they vote, their choice, as it was explained to me many times, you have to look into your heart of hearts.
Right.
And say, who touched you the most?
Okay. All right, LM, thank you. I hope you'll be able to show your face without the mustache and glasses next time you dine at Paramount Dining Room. All right. I hope that there was somewhat clarified. You knew this. I didn't know this. That only those, which makes sense, obviously. How is somebody outside of a certain area going to vote on that? All right, I've got a lot more to talk to you about. You are listening to the Dennis Prager Show. Well, it's a very important discussion because it transcends what is not important in the ultimate analysis. Who wins an Academy Award is important to people who value Academy Awards, but to society it's of massive insignificance. Incidentally, I have a sense that most actors know that that's true, especially if they won it, because it's a great honor and people, and it is. It's a great honor. I'm not going to knock that. It's a great honor within that profession. And then the next day you wake up and you have an Academy Award and you still have to go to the bathroom and you still have to get a job and you still have family problems. And that's the way life works. The most famous chef, the greatest chef in the world, or at least in France, just committed suicide at the age of, I think, 44. There's a big article on that. Got all the honors you could possibly want. Obviously was not a particularly happy person. Chefs, incidentally, have a terrible life. They work unbelievably hard. They're under unbelievable pressure. I know this because my son went to culinary school, one of my sons, for a while, and I learned a lot about the profession. Very tough life. But the people place this enormous values on this, and think that it will lead to great happiness. Daryl in Los Angeles wants to know, and Daryl, the only reason I'm not taking this is because I want to give time to an answer, because we only have a minute to go. If a minority group is disgruntled, how best do they express their concern without damaging their cause? It's a very good question. The question is the group making a big deal about something that is actually significant or not? That's my issue. I made two key points here. As a result of what has happened now, future black winners will have a slight cloud over their head. Whereas no black winner in the history of the Academy Awards did anybody assume won it for any other reason other than the Academy thought that they deserved the award. So this is a terrible disservice to black actors, directors, etc. And the other is, for any group to make a big deal about this, just like a big deal about how many members in Congress, shows you that the group is poorly represented. Because it doesn't amount to a pile of beans on how good it is in America for a group, depending on how many Academy Award recipients or congressmen it has.